There is plenty of uncertainty around who will have the most playing time between the pipes for the Calgary Flames this upcoming season, and that's not a bad thing. A recent article has tried to break down who the Flames should rely on between the pipes between Dustin Wolf, Dan Vladar, and Devin Cooley, and make sure you stay to the end of this video for a bit of a cryptic message from a Flames insider. But before we get into all of that, I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I am Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family, but there is a big question we need to answer, and what is that question? Well, it is who gets the reins between the pipes for the Calgary Flames this upcoming season. And honestly, to preface this whole video, it doesn't really matter who the Flames rely on the most. Over the past few seasons, they have had Jacob Markstrom. They knew they would rely on him. He was the number one guy. Before that, we kind of went through a weird phase where Mike Smith kind of was given the reins, but we had, Cam Talbot. We had other guys come through. Chad Johnson at one point was kind of the number one guy. Before that, it was weird with Jonas Hiller, Yoni Ordio, and Kari Ramo, among others. We've had some great goalies over the past decade or so. But either way, we have a great article here today from who I think honestly is the best Flames writer out there right now, Mr. Ryan Pike, genuinely my favorite. I think he knows the Flames better than pretty much anyone else. But he had this article, how should the Calgary Flames manage their goaltending duties in 2024-25? And, he kind of goes on to say some of the things I just said about how we have had Markstrom lately. We don't have that anymore. How are the Flames kind of going to manage this? Who's going to be the number one guy? Who should the Flames rely on? So if we dive in, how is this going to work, and which goaltender will the Flames be able to lean on? Let's take a look at each of the three candidates. I said them all in the intro to this video. Most Flames fans know who the three are, but of course, the number one candidate is Dustin Wolf, our beloved Wolfie. Can I get an woo? Here's the weird thing about Wolf. He's simultaneously the youngest of the three goalies at the age of 23 years old, and perhaps their best option as somebody to lean on, despite only having 18 NHL games under his belt. We all know what he has been able to do at the AHL level and at pretty much every other level of hockey he has played in his whole life. And it seems like the more he stuck with the Flames last season, the better and better he got. Now, the Flames aren't expected to be a great team next year. That being said, I was kind of going over the lineup the other day, and it doesn't look that bad. It doesn't look bad enough to be bottom, absolute bottom of the league. Bottom five could be, especially if, we get some injuries or some players don't gel. But either way, the Flames aren't quite bad enough to get that first overall pick almost guaranteed. So either way, Dustin Wolf, we don't want to stunt his growth. We don't want him in a bad situation. It'll be interesting to see here, even though he probably is our best option. If we let Pike continue here, he said, over the past 3 seasons, Wolf has played between 47 and 56 games between the NHL and AHL. Aside from the pandemic-shortened 2020-2021 season, he's played over 40 games 5 seasons in a row, which for a goalie is pretty good. He's used to playing a lot and facing a lot of shots. Yeah, he's not terribly experienced at the NHL level, but heading into an 82-game season, he's somebody that wouldn't flinch at the big workload. He's young, he's spry. I think he has the energy. So far, no history of an injury. Knock on wood, that remains or continues to be the case. We definitely don't want him to face some injury woes. But either way, I'm not saying he's going to be playing all 82 games. Gone are the days of goalies playing 75 plus games like we used to make Kipper do. But either way, Dustin Wolf, not a bad option here. I think the Flames could definitely rely on him between the pipes the most this upcoming season. Additionally, Wolf has the best resume of the 3 netminders the Flames have in camp. We've said it before, but we'll say it again. Over the past 5 seasons, he's been named the best goaltender in his league 4 times and the MVP once. That's how good he is at being a goalie in professional hockey. And his best goaltender candidacy in the AHL was hurt last season because he was in the NHL for a third of the campaign. If he had remained with the Wranglers for the whole season, he would have won goalie of the year once again. If past success is a harbinger of future success, Wolf is someone to watch. Yes, of course, we know it best. Most of the video is going to focus on Wolfie because he just is the best option. He's the best goalie prospect the Flames have had in a very long time. And I think a lot of people are very, very excited about him. I'm sure they'll rely on him the most. Of course, there are variables that come in, like I said, with injuries, like I said, with experience, but either way, we'll just have to wait and see. Next man, Dan Vladar. We'll keep this one nice and short, but Vladar is 26, and he's been a pro since 2016-17, so quite a while now. Here's the challenge. He's usually been a backup or in a tandem, and the most games he's played in a season was 48, way back in 2017-18 when he split time between the AHL's Providence Bruins and the ECHL's Atlanta Gladiators. So he really has never been the number one goalie at any point in his career, even when he was developing at the AHL, at least in a pro context here. In junior hockey, he was evidently the number one goalie, or else it's going to be hard to end up being drafted or make it to the league. But either way, it's interesting to look at the numbers here. We also know that he's coming off of this surgery. Is he going to be fully fit? Is he going to be fully healed? It'll be very interesting to see. I know the Flames, let's say the season starts to go really badly. They do not want to stunt Wolfie's growth. Just let Vladar ride along for a while. I don't think he's playing hard in order to go to a contender. He could also be traded at any sort of point if the Flames decide they don't need the three goalies. I don't think Vladar's the man to fully rely on unless, things aren't going to plan. I love Dan Vladar. He can be an NHL caliber goalie, but last season was a rough one, and he has an injury now. It'll be very interesting to see. Now, the last candidate is newly acquired Devin Cooley, one of the very few splashes Conroy decided to make in free agency. Thank you, Craig, once again. But Cooley's 27. He's 3 months older than Vladar, and recently he's played on average more than Vladar, but less than Wolf. He also has the least NHL experience of the three available netminders, just 6 games all last season with the Sharks, and 6 games with the Sharks basically means nothing pretty much. Cooley went pro in 2020-21, and his highest games played since then is 34 in 2021-22, split between the AHL's Milwaukee Admirals and the ECHL's Florida Everblades. What a punny name that one is. The Everblades. During the last 3 seasons, he's played between 20 and 34 games. His average is 28 games. So he's at the professional level, never really played all that much, and yet somehow he's the oldest of the goalies. I know it's a lot more difficult for them to develop. It takes more time, but still, averaging 28 games per season at the pro level once you're 27, that's not a goalie I'd assume will rely upon a lot, but I do expect him to play at least 20 games this upcoming season. Is he the man we'll rely on, though? I kind of doubt it. I like that we signed him. It's great to have him for kind of the rebuild. Is he in our plans for the future? I wouldn't think so unless he really puts on a clinic, but we'll just have to wait and see about Big Dev. To wrap up this article, in short, it's unclear if any one of the Flames' 3 goalies can fill Markstrom's shoes based on how much and how little each available netminder has played over the past few seasons. We're thinking it's likely the club will need to use all 3 of them to fill the gap, but if they're going to lean on somebody, it might be Wolf. I completely agree with Ryan Pike there. It's so true. He's the best of the bunch. He needs the most experience because he's part of our plans, and it makes sense to rely upon him most, unless we are just absolute dog, then don't hang him out there to dry pretty much. But either way, I really like this article, and it does have big implications for our future, knowing which goalie we're going to play this upcoming season and how that will affect their development and their experience going into the future when we are ready to contend. Mostly, I mean that about Dustin Wolf. I'd be kind of surprised if Vladar is a Flame at the end of the season, but we'll just have to wait and see. Of course, there's so many possibilities. Now, another question I wanted to answer, I kind of alluded to it in the intro a bit, but what could this mean? A Flames insider, one from TSN, kind of tweeted out a bit of a cryptic message, and it only involved one character technically, and it was an emoji. And it was this. So Salim Valji posted the eyes emoji. A lot of people are speculating as to what this could mean. Many think, just like it goes right well with what we talked about in this video, but a lot of people think it could mean a Wolf contract, or a lot of people think it could mean Rasmus Andersson has been traded potentially to Utah Hockey Club to go be with Tej. There's a lot of speculation going on. What could this mean? Personally, it has Flames fans in a frenzy on social media, both on Twitter and on Reddit, but I think at the end of the day, it's probably not Flames related. Look, Valji also covers the Calgary Stampeders. It could be about the Stamps. It could be about the ongoing Olympics right now, the Summer Olympics. What an experience that's been for a lot of people. It could be about honestly anything. And as Flames fans, don't hold your breath. it probably doesn't mean all that much. I wanted to address this because Flames fans are kind of getting upset at Valji here. Probably, just was having some fun or something. I don't know what's going on, but if it is Flames related, great. I'll keep you updated. If not, that's just kind of how these things go. Now let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, and this one has to do with maybe some moves Conroy could do. The last video was about 6 potential PTOs that could be handed out, and this is a comment from that video here from a regular around here. The General, he said, I'm sure Conroy is just waiting for desperate teams who need a cap dump, and he will cash in. And yes, that is what we all want him to do. The Flames have, I believe, now the second most cap space. I think Anaheim might have a little bit more now, at least as of a couple days ago. I don't believe anything's changed since then. But either way, loads of cap space for a cap dump. Hopefully we can pick up some assets, whether it's picks or prospects, preferably picks. We'll just have to wait and see, but that is what we all want at the end of the day. That'd be way better than dishing out some PTOs. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe, like what you saw here today, and have a wonderful rest of your day.